T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to USARK and all USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what USARK is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a USARK member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with USARK organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a USARK member. And if you can't become a USARK member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what USARK is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every USARK member and USARK supporter out there. Choo!
All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great Sunday evening. You're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast network in the world, the Trap Talk Reptile Network podcast. We're already episode on 32 with the Girls Who Love Reptiles podcast. I'm really excited to have Renae on from Portuguese Pythons, talk about their projects they got going on. Ultramel, of course. That's one of my favorite morphs. So really, really excited. We've been talking backstage a little bit, and I know this is going to be a great show. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified. We are 7 days a week now. I'll show that little schedule here. There I'm in the background. But like I said, we got shows every single day of the week, bringing on new breeders, everything arboreal. Cush's Corner has been great recently too with the guests, monitors, so inclubrids, so you can't really go wrong. So hit that notification bell to get notified. Also, as you saw with MJ about USARK, look in the description below to join. Super, super important. As well as if you're looking to join a Patreon family, I highly recommend the Trap. I've been in it for, I don't know, probably over a year now, I think. It's been super helpful, especially networking, meeting people from all different species. Highly recommend. MJ is awesome and great. I'm not just saying that. He really is. So go ahead and join the Patreon or reach out to me if you've got questions. Put the little banner going here. You got Phoenix popping in to say hello. Say hello to you guys in the chat. And then we'll bring on our guests and get started. So we got Mike. He's a regular, always one of the first guys. Thanks for tapping in. I'd like to get Ultramel and Sunset hypo. Yeah, I definitely agree with the Ultramel and Sunset for sure. That's definitely a route I'm going with it. Slow but steady. Hey, Nick. Thanks for tapping in. We got Amanda. Thanks for tapping in. Amanda and Eric were awesome. They came out to my place yesterday and helped me move some racks. So I was really, really, really grateful. Appreciate it. We got lunch afterwards, and overall it was great seeing them and the family. So again, really appreciate their help. Wouldn't have really met them if it wasn't for the snakes. So again, the relationships in this industry are priceless. So I'll be lifelong friends, and I really thank them for helping me out. We got Sinful Serpents Exotics. That's a new face, I think. Thanks for tapping in. Dickie Foster. That's a new one too. Thanks for tapping in, guys. Edwin at Ballsy Pythons. Thank you for tapping in. We got Dan. Thanks for tapping in. Big E Top G. See you tomorrow night on New Breeder on the Block. Thanks for tapping in. Eric, yep, thank you. Thanks for tapping in. Eric was with Amanda. Like I said, they came out yesterday and had a great time. So again, thank you so much. We got Pastel Pat in the chat. Thanks for tapping in. Ultramel the world, yep. That's right. So with that, I'll bring on Renae, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How's your weekend been?
It's been fabulous. Too quick as always, but you know.
Yeah, I always think that when it gets to around this time, of course, the Sunday before, and I'm like, ugh, I'm always thinking about what I got to do at work tomorrow, and yeah, not super ideal. But we kind of talked backstage, but time change is
Yes.
this that happened today, right? Yes, this
Yes.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was already kind of feel it this afternoon. I could feel it kind of getting tired, but it's nice seeing the sunlight outside a little bit later as we get towards summer. So really excited for that. So takes a
Thanks.
little adjustment period. Anything fun this weekend? I think you just had some chores, but nothing.
Yeah. No, just chores around the house.
Mhm.
Did some ultrasounding.
Oh, okay.
That
How'd
was
that
nice.
go?
Pretty good. I can't remember all the numbers, but we have some promising clutches coming. That's for sure.
Okay, that's good. How many are you planning to do this year?
Jiminy crickets. Well, I do know that we have about 60 females that are above 10 millimeter follicles.
Okay.
So if all stays on track, then maybe 60. We haven't, unfortunately, been able to hit over 34 clutches, and we've been doing this, I think, for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. But we kind of moved rooms, and we kept
Mhm.
hitting like the 33, 34 clutches.
Mhm.
And we had like 20 females not go last year that went the previous year, and all those females have finally come online this season. So
Okay. And was there a move that happened between the females that went, or what do you think the big change?
yeah, so we went, we added on a room to our house.
Hmm.
So we went from being like in our house and then moving them to a whole new room. And we kind of moved them in gradually, but I feel like that may have put a little, I mean, we didn't move across cities or anything, but it
Yeah.
kind of shook them up a little bit.
Interesting. Just one little change of room. That's where
Yeah.
I'm kind of at. I need to ultrasound mine again. I only have like 2 that are above 10, and the rest
Okay.
of them are low, but I'm moving in July, so I'm like, well, it's either gonna throw them really off, or maybe they'll maybe they'll throw them into going. Yeah, I'll be moving like across the country from Missouri to Florida, so it'll be a
Oh,
big,
yeah.
big trip. That'll probably send them through the roof. I don't know. We'll see what they do.
Might be good. Might be good.
Might be good. I'm not expecting much this year, so I'm already just being like, I'll breed them, but if they don't go, it is what it is. So
Definitely.
I could probably have maybe, I think I had like 10 or 15 that could probably go, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So okay, so you've been doing it for 6 years, about
I
30,
think
30
yeah,
so.
about 2018, I think, is when we had like our first clutch. So that would be, I think we're going on our, that would be 7th year. Yeah. So
What was
yeah.
that first? What was that first clutch? Do you remember?
Something so like, I think it was like our pastel calico female to like, just, when you're first starting out, you're like, oh, I'm going to buy all these animals. And then now you look back, you're like, why did I buy all these?
Yep.
And, it is what it is. But it's still exciting because, I mean, you've never done that before. And
Oh yeah.
it's like Christmas. It's still Christmas when you have the babies pip out of the eggs or cut the eggs, however you prefer to do it. But
It's like nothing else where you see
Yeah.
them pop out and all the different combos. You get hooked like really quickly. Either that's good or a bad. I mean, I think it's a good thing, but it could be kind of bad too if you just start buying everything and everything. But,
exactly.
so yeah, that's all. Yeah, I just like hearing what people's first kind of clutches are, and then kind of see how they've kind of developed. So what one of my favorite questions to get the answer from is like your journey into it. So like, what got you guys into reptiles from where you're at now? Is this mainly you thing, or is this Danny, or is it both? Like,
It started as a him thing because my best friend, her mom was a teacher, so I was able to like handle and, be around all different types of animals, whether they're furry or reptiles. And so in 2017, we had our first child. And then he's like, oh, let's just go to a reptile shop. I'm like, why? He's like, just look around. So we didn't just look around. We came home with a ball python. And then I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then a week later, we're like, let's go back. And then we ended up with a corn snake. And then here we are. So it started as a Danny thing. And I like to tease him because when he gets fixated on like an animal, like we did rabbits, we did birds, we had, I think, like 20 different fish tanks in our house at one time, like big 50-gallon ones, 100-gallon ones. He even
fish too. Yeah.
So it kind of like when he gets fixated on something, it blows up. But then I'm also kind of like an enabler, I guess.
Okay.
But now I'm pretty much addicted to the reptiles too, or snakes. We don't have many reptiles. So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you just do the ball pythons, or do you have other species?
Well, we did corn snakes for a few seasons, and we actually just moved out, I think, all of them except for our first initial one that we got, because we want to focus more on the ball pythons. So I will still keep my original corn snake Harvey, and then we do have a pair of king snakes, Mexican black king snakes, and we just acquired 2 house snakes back in at the Anaheim. No, was it Anaheim show? Whatever Pomona show. Sorry, in January. So we got 2 little house snakes and a hognose for our kid. So
okay, so you're dabbling a little bit.
Yeah, but no like lizards or geckos or anything like that. So
okay, you're not into the leg guys. It seems like
I like them, but I just haven't fine tuned like the care for them, I guess.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I feel like some of the lizards are a little bit more variable. I don't know. I'm kind of sticking to more of the airy guys. Like the leopard geckos are very similar to the ball pythons as far as temps. Like I can keep them in similar sort of racks.
Okay.
And then I just got knobtails, which are pretty similar to leopard geckos with a few minor like twists and stuff. So yeah, it gets a little bit harder if you're doing them that are different care, and then you got to do different setup, and it's just. And the food, like the insects, are kind of hard to deal with too sometimes.
Yeah, I wasn't down with the crickets. So we did have a 1.2 of crested geckos.
Oh, okay.
But my females didn't really make it past 6 months. So I don't know if I just didn't get like I don't know if they weren't cared for well when I got them, and they just didn't they didn't thrive. And then my male, he eventually took a turn for the worse as well. So I'm like, I'll just wait and maybe do some more research, and maybe when the kids are older, that's something that they'll want to, dabble with.
Yeah. The kids really like the crescent geckos. I've seen
little eyelashes and stuff. So.
Like I guess right now,
yeah,
I would say they're kind of easy, but they can be finicky though. Cause I've had some friends get them and then they get really worried if they're eating or not. Cause and then, they're so small and it's hard to see if they eat, and you get stressed about that.
Yeah. And then we did have a jumping spider, which I didn't realize we bought. It was wild caught. I didn't know to look to see if it was wild caught or captive. And she was pregnant when I got her. Wow. But the babies didn't survive either. They ended up all in the playroom. So they were hanging off like the Barbie doll house. Mom, there's another one. And I tried like the butterfly net. I did everything I could. I'm just not a spider mom.
They're cute, and I love the little houses they have for them. Yes. Like I'm so tempted. It's just now's not the right time, but like in the future, I'd like to have one on my desk or something at home. Or
they're fun to look at with their little eyes.
Yeah, some of them are like really pretty too. Like they some of them are like blue or like bright orange, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I could do that.
Yeah,
that's why. Like Ultramel, so I get kind of fixated on the orange. I see that in leopard geckos too. Like my likes are kind of like translated with all the.
Yeah, the first corn snake that we got was a male stripe, so he's orange.
Yep.
And then the house snakes that I got, they're also albino, so they're like that orangey color. I'm like, I just flock to that color.
Yep, it's a pretty popular. So won't touch on Ultramel quite yet, but what were some of those initial projects, or maybe it was from like the start? Like, how did your development go over the years? Like, what did you produce your first year, and how did your products kind of develop over time?
So we mostly, I think, Danny found on Craigslist this couple that lived in like Menifee or something, or it's not too far from us, that was going out of business. And so he went and acquired like all these like Exanthic, Pied, Het Pied. So, and then what else? Calico. He really liked Calico, like a Super Mojave. So it was like, like the pet quality, like Bells, Pieds, that type of thing. A lot of pastel. So, but it evolved. I think like our first recessive projects were probably the Pieds and Exanthics, because we did have like a pair of VPIs. And then quite a few different Pieds. So that's how it started. We didn't get into Ultramel, I believe, until 2020.
Okay. So
that's when we bought our first Ultramel.
Okay.
And so it kind of just evolved from there. Clown, And then now everything under the sun feels like.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. When I hear you guys, I think Ultramel, but what? So you're still kind of doing those other
Oh yeah,
projects then for sure.
absolutely. So we still focus on pieds. We've been trying to add DG into our pieds, but last year a bunch of our pied girls took the year off. We work with clowns. We're adding hypo into our clown projects. What else? We got puzzle with Ultramel.
Yep. I'm dabbling. I'm kind of bringing that into or going that route. So
And then we have some sunset Ultramel growing up in the just double hets. But yeah, I mean, not just Ultramel. So it's kind of like a little bit of everything, but it kind of all ties back into Ultramel, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I've been kind of working on with my projects too. Well, because I wanted to say small, so I'm kind of like making everything like go together type of thing.
Exactly.
Ultramel being kind of the base, and maybe it's not a good thing being so niche, but I know I'm not gonna do this full time anytime soon.
Yeah.
Starting like a new career and everything, so I kind of took the back seat. Maybe I'll just be really niche for now, and if I decide to grow in the future, I'll grow maybe super long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when did you guys start making kind of the switch to like the breeding and the business side? Because you kind of got into it with buying the pets. So when did it kind of switch over for you?
So Danny, first we started selling on Craigslist, and that's sketchy, right? Like that's where our first sales were. And he came home one day, he's like, yeah, I sold that. I know this is like, it might not be pennies for someone, but now it's like, oh, I sold that for 200. I'm like, what? You made $200 off a snake? And I'm like, okay, we're doing this. And so it was probably like 2020 when we made it Morph Market official, really.
Oh, wow. Okay. So fairly, okay.
So we were just selling on Craigslist, and then we're like, oh, we need to make an account. Everyone's bored at home. So we signed up for Morph Market, started listing animals, and then it just got addicting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And do you guys do this full time, or do you still have your own full-time jobs?
So Danny works full time. He cleans the rodents. And then we have a few customers that he sells to, as well as feeding our own collection. I don't want to say I don't have a job. I stay at home with the kids, but I do a lot of the cleaning of the snakes and whatnot. And I do all the shipping, and what else? He does the feeding. So I guess I'm kind of full-time in here, but he still has his full-time job, elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. It seems like it's really hard to go full-time into this. I think right now, just with the market being as is, like people have been full-time, it just takes some adjustments, but I don't know. I came in new with like the rosy kind of colored glasses. Like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I've since learned. I was like, no, not anytime. I want to play, dabble a little bit, focus.
Yeah.
But not anytime soon. No, it's just,
especially you don't want to burn yourself out either.
Yeah. It's really
take
easy
to take the joy out of, the animals.
It's really easy to do, especially with so many animals like going up for auction or being for sale. It's really easy to be like, oh yes, this one, but it's like financially I have to tell myself no.
Oh yes, I know that feeling.
So with feeding them, what rodents do you guys usually do? You do ASF, rats, mice, all of the above?
We can't have ASFs here in California.
Oh,
yeah, so he does rats and mice.
Okay.
He's finally fine-tuned, I think, his mice. He wanted to get away from mice and then realized, like, no, like there's money to be made. Like everyone was started asking for mice. And so then he bumped up his mouse production again. And he did our garage. He like split it in half and has like his whole rat facility there.
Okay.
And so it's nice. He freezes them too. So we have frozen thawed customers. We put all our hatchlings, like the for sale ones, over on frozen thawed to be easier.
That seems like a good route to go with the snake, is learning to do the rodents too. I've also like learned more of that. And I've been doing okay with the rodents, but I could I don't say do better per se, but maybe start out investing more on the rat side part of that versus and making sure your production's like full force. I kind of did it backwards. I accumulated the snakes and then caught up on the rodents after. I was like, if I did it again, I'd probably switch it, but it's been fine. I've been able to manage it, but I think starting over, I would have done that.
We always say that, if I would have done it this way if I could, and if I knew now, no, if I knew then what I know now, right? That type thing.
Correct. Brandon, keep telling yourself that. I think when I was saying I was to stop buying stuff, he knows that I'm like, I always change my mind and everything like that. So
Yes.
So tell me, I know you guys did the breeder show, correct?
Mhm.
Recently, and this is the second year or second time you've done it. Tell me a little bit about that and shows in general for you guys.
Yeah, so this was DNKG's second time putting on this show. The first one was in December of 23. And so I think it got too close to the end of the year, so they did it this past March. It was a beautiful space, kind of like a loft space, more boutique style. Not like your typical like super show or NARBC show, just more like close quarters, close knit, kind of hang out. They had a professional photographer there. It was really cool. And then as far as shows, we do all the super shows because we're about 20 minutes from Pomona Fairplex.
Oh, really nice.
And like I was telling you earlier, we're about like 30, 40 minutes from Disneyland, which is right next to the Anaheim Convention Center. So we always do those shows with Ronnie. We haven't done any of the smaller shows recently, only because like last year, our season was so late that it just didn't make sense. And with Danny's work schedule, he works, I feel like I'm talking a lot about him, but yeah. But his work schedule is like Sunday through Wednesday.
Okay.
So it's hard for him to take that additional day off for those shows. So he kind of reserves those days for like our larger show, the busier weekends.
Yeah.
But if we do have 60 clutches this next year or this coming season, we're probably going to have to go back to doing some of those smaller shows.
Okay.
But I don't know. They have the Repticon. I know Repticon's like probably a lot bigger out like East Coast or wherever their main area is. So the ones out here, like they're okay, but it's, not that many people coming in the door.
Mm-hmm. So you've kind of more targeted towards the larger shows that bring in more people. How has that overall experience been for you guys? Maybe thinking back to like your first shows, and how have you kind of transitioned over the years, or have you done stuff differently and bringing things like just kind of?
Yeah. So our very first show was in January of 2022. It was a super show. We had one tiny little table with our 4 displays. And from then on out, we hit every small show, whether it was like a Repticon, whether it was, there's another Central Valley does shows out here. So we're doing all the shows. And then as far as what we bring, we try to have a variety of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I told you we do dabble with the pieds and everything. So the pieds sell really well out here. Albinos. So kind of like to have a good mix of like, I don't want to say lower end because like my lower end might be somebody's higher end, but something like that's more appeasing to, a pet person, right? Like somebody wants to get their kid their first snake. And then, bringing a few of our project animals to like show off and, see like, oh, here's the ingredients to make this type thing. And, try to get those people to be like, oh yeah, like I can do that. I don't have to go all in and buy this, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 animal. I can get these pets and plug away and make those projects myself.
Right. Yeah.
So just getting a variety, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's where I kind of think about, but if I'm going to stay niche, I guess that makes it a little bit hard. But I think that's where like the Ultramel comes into play, because even like your misses are still visually appealing. So I've been thinking a lot about the pairings, and it's hard with these double and triple projects. Like a lot of those byproduct animals maybe not being visually appealing and then being hard to move. So with me trying to stay small, I've been just kind of rethinking those and pairing stuff a little bit differently so that I visually get something that can still sell versus getting all like these, normal stuff that that's that nobody really wants. So
I think our goal, like we kind of been talking back and forth, was like having our byproduct be stuff that's like able to move. Like, if we're, shooting for an Ultramel pied, even if you just put a visual pied to an Ultramel pied, you're still going to get pied. So that byproduct is going to be easier to move than if you were to do like a het to het type thing. And, it's kind of made us really dial in and plan our pairings a little bit better this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree with what you've said.
Yeah, just and everybody does it differently. I mean, if you have a ton of animals, you may be just doing like making a bunch of pets and tests and everything. But I think it's just as individual based on your own
Oh, for
collections.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
just me coming into. I kind of went into it trying to do all these different types of triple and recessive projects without really thinking about the number of animals you have to hit those.
And
And
yeah.
adding the codoms into it as well.
Mhm.
Let me see. Oh yeah, Lisa commented. Looks like she's
Lisa,
got something from me.
hi.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Black Helio. Yeah. So I guess we can get into Ultramel a little bit. I didn't want to start out of the gate with it too much, but what made you said you got the one. What made you get into the project and how have you seen that develop? Like what codoms do you like into it? What are your kind of future you see with it?
So he found this ad on Morph Market for an Ultramel, and the guy was pretty local. And I'm like, Ultramel, what? Like, we hadn't really seen it at shows. And then he showed me the ad. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So then we went and picked it up. He's like, well, I have this other one too. You want this one? And we're like, okay. And then it kind of just blossomed from there. So they're just single gene Ultramels. They're actually still here with us. But I'll say our favorite codom in it is Blackhead. Clearly, we got Blackhead everything. But I actually do like Lesser and Ultramel. We produced a Lesser Leopard Ultramel, and she's just like a different color palette, like more of like a soft yellow, and the purples are more like lavender. But I think Blackhead probably the most. We have a lot of leopard in it too.
Leopard looks
But
really nice. Yeah.
yeah. What else did we do this year? We added some calico into it. We only made the het version, so excited to see that in the visual version. And then what else? We did add in, we have a bunch of hets this year. So HRA, we're excited to go in there.
I think yeah, I don't know what that would be interesting. I don't
Yeah.
really know too much about
Yeah.
that. I haven't seen too much about that. I've seen some where it looks pretty, but go ahead.
Yeah.
But some of those I'm like, I don't really know what it's doing here. But
Yeah. I also love black pastel in it. Really pops the orange out.
Yep.
I feel like, yeah, we're dabbling it a little bit. We're getting redhead into it this year. So kind of excited to see what that does.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
And then, like Blackhead and Enchi, I think really look good together in Ultramel.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I think, yeah, redhead would be cool. I'm more taking that the hypo sunset kind of route with that. But yeah, I would be interested to see what that does in the Ultramel too. Oh yeah, Cypress.
Oh, thank you. I forgot about the Cypress. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did produce a chocolate Cypress and just a Cypress Ultramel this year, and those came out better than expected. So excited to plug those girls in and into a few more projects there. I think we're doing a repeat pairing, maybe. I can't remember what we put that to, but yeah. So Cypress looks really good in Ultramel.
It's hard to like say what doesn't look good in it. I feel like what does. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think what doesn't look. It's such like. Feel like I'm new into it, but it's been around for quite some time. Ultramel has, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It's just interesting when you go to Morph Market, you try to look for certain genes and you can't find the stuff. Like not that much has been actually done in it, which is kind of surprising, I think.
Have you ever looked like on the European side of it? Because I know over there they produce a lot of cool stuff too that I haven't seen on when you toggle and you can see Europe. You should check some of that Ultramel stuff out. I can't remember the breeder over there. There's a couple, and they have some really cool Ultramel stuff.
Okay. That kind of makes sense because they were the first ones to make the Ultramel Sunset, and I know they're kind of making some combos with that.
Yeah.
I think it was Dragon's Lab, I believe.
There's a couple. There's one guy, I don't even know if he messed up his name. It was like Ultramel something was his actual store name.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while since I've looked on the European side of things. But yeah, they've produced some cool stuff over there.
Okay. That's really smart to do that. Yeah, I think I just have mine to US and Canada, so that makes sense. So maybe I can get some inspiration by
Yes. I think that's where we were kind of inspired by our calico pairing this past year.
Yep. Yes, I picked up a calico Ultramel male. Yeah. Yellow belly male he just looked really nice. I'll put in some paint stuff, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We might be dabbling with some ultra paints this year too.
Yes. No, I have Brandon was in the chat, but I got 2 double het girls from him. One girl's at 1,000 grams. So I'm like, she eats anything and everything. So I'm hoping she'll come this year. And then I have a double het male, and then Ultramel 66% het paint male. And I sent the shed off to Charlie.
And
I haven't gotten the results back yet. But I said, like, please, because I have a pretty good shot of hitting an Ultramel paint. I think those are pretty sick. But
I think he's pretty cool.
He's definitely got, like, I want to say markers for, like, he's got a lot of pixelation flaming in the belly so I'm like, please, man.
Nice.
Somebody had him on Morph for like $200.
Well, that's cheap.
And I was just like, okay.
There you go. So you're spending money again.
Well, that was a lot of money. I've been cornering. Yeah, then you're spending. Yeah, but I've had him for a little bit. I just haven't turned the shed. But yeah, I'm waiting on, even though Charlie hasn't came out specifically with the paint test yet.
Yeah.
So it's coming. But since I'm not going to sell him, then if he is het, I'll just keep him. So yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, we'll hopefully keep fingers crossed. I don't know. I think it would look, again, awesome. I think it would look similar to the Stranger Ultramel, just with more pattern, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our buddy Travis, Enigmatic Reptiles, kind of had to, twist our arm to, hey, let's do it. So, we're going for it.
Paint's not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't know. I just really like it. Just I'm really drawn to pixelated stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. We only produced some hets this year, and even the hets are gorgeous.
Yes, the two I got from Brandon, they don't look normal. Like, one has a lot of popcorning, like, in the belly, almost like a visual. And I'm just like, wow, this animal's really pretty for being double het. So it's cool that even the hets are pretty visual.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. No, I'm super, super excited for that project. But yeah, there's not really much that doesn't work in it. So it is surprising that, as far as, I guess, on the US side, I don't know why. Maybe people are just shooting for doubles and triples and not so much the codom. So some,
I agree with that. I think that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I personally haven't seen a lot of different added codoms, besides the normal blackhead and black pastel, yellow belly. Like, those are pretty much like standard. You can go and look. But now I'm seeing, like, the cypress coming in, and what else? I don't know, just some cool stuff. But we want to get more codoms into the project, so I feel like that's what we kind of did this past season, was to add some of those. Even though we just made hets, they're growing up. But yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to kind of get that if they're not out there, so you have to make them, which I've learned through this process. Is I would get frustrated and not finding, like, the codom I wanted in the het Ultramel. You have to just make them basically. But probably one of my favorite animals in my collection is a Hurricane Ultramel that just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because what year were they produced? 22. In 2022, we did a blackhead Mojave hurricane, possible hurricane, to our Ultramel pied, and we made a bunch of double heads. And then some of her babies, I think it was her babies this year, were like, they're weird. So we tested her and proved out to be 100% hurricane.
Oh, nice.
So then we had held back a bunch of double het females and 2 double het males. One of the male did prove out to be hurricane, and then all the females we held back are hurricane. So we're working into our pied Ultramel pied project, and I think we're going to do a pairing with the Ultramel clown. So hopefully get hurricane into that. It's a long road, but
it'll be worth it. From what I've seen, the hurricane pieds are pretty nice. I like what it does to the saddle and the pattern. It seems like it's pretty pattern neutral. I haven't seen a lot of high white hurricane pieds. The ones I've seen are really nice. So
so fingers crossed that these girls continue to grow.
Yeah, I think it'll look super nice. And go back to the lesser too. Some lesser Ultramels, I think, look.
Oh yeah,
like all the pinks and all the oranges. I don't know. I just love Ultramel.
And I know people hate on pastel, but I think pastel ages so well in Ultramel.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, so it goes back to, like, what doesn't look good in Ultramel? Not very much. I don't see how you can really go wrong with it. Honestly, it works in a lot of different codoms. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like bamboo in Ultramel.
Okay, fair. Fair. I don't like bamboo, period. I don't want any.
No.
Sorry for people in the chat, but that's probably
I
one
was
put on my
I was on the fence with Mojave Ultramel, but surprisingly, like we produced a Mojave Ultramel het puzzle, right? I think that's what he is, and he's actually really pretty. But yeah, I just don't like bamboo, so I think bamboo needs to stay away from Ultramel.
Yep.
They can come at me for that, but that's fine. But yeah, other than that, I don't really think anything else off the top of my head.
No, I have a special. Well, she has spot nose in her too, but spot nose special Ultramel, and the special looks very nice in it as well. It really helps with that, the contrast. Maybe it's a spot nose doing the work too, but I was surprised of how good that looks too.
Nice. We don't have special in our Ultramel yet. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Yeah. You have to add it in there. I think who did I get that from? I think Brock Wagner. He's been one of the very few that has
special in it.
Special in the Ultramel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one I have is very, very spicy, but she's pretty though. But she's a firecracker. So
nice.
But no, as overall Morph, I don't think you can't go
wrong
with it.
No, because you can go light and you can go dark, and it's still gonna look good.
So it'll look good, and I feel like not everybody and their brothers like working it, right? So as a newer person, it kind of, I say that now, everybody's gonna go, I don't get it. But anyways, I just feel like it gives a little bit of a chance. That's not, I don't want to bag on Clown or anything because it's the most popular, but somebody new coming in, I was just like, holy cow, like how am I supposed to do anything with everybody else's?
Everybody working Clown, yeah,
doing what everybody else is doing. So I felt like Ultramel and the Sunset and the puzzle kind of,
it's gonna be good.
Will look good and it's different. But yeah, not a lot of people are doing it. What are your thoughts on the whole Ultramel versus Monarch debate?
I think everything has its place. However, I think that Ultramel is going to age better 1000% than Monarch. And I think that there's just so much more. Like I said before, you can go light with Ultramel and you can go dark with Ultramel. I feel like I've seen some cool Monarch combinations. I was actually at Pomona. Pida's Life had some cool Monarch combinations at his table. But I still I have no hate towards it. I just feel like I think Ultramel is just going to, it's going to hold its colors and everything through adulthood. It just looks better.
You heard it, people. No, I'm with the same way. Like they look pretty, but then as I see them age, they're like a pale yellow color. And that's fine if you like. That's what helps with the contrast is that pale yellow next to the dark. So visually, contrasting wise, yes. But I don't like the pale straw colored yellow I see that gets even paler as it ages. I like the more chocolatier purple tones.
Yes. I agree.
That you don't see in the Monarch. It's kind of yellow, and then you get the burgundy. But
I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody else will produce a really cool Monarch this year, and I might change my mind. I doubt it, but I might.
Yeah,
prove me wrong.
I don't see myself adding it. I mean, I came in new where I could choose either one, but I feel like even Monarch, there hasn't been hardly much done with it either.
Not yet.
And at a significantly higher price tag.
I
think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that hurts that project much or not when you're making it harder to get into.
Exactly.
When somebody's like, I can just do Ultramel and get, a little bit faster speed on it. I don't know. That's where my mind is on it. If people can put their comments in the chat, I can put them up, or if you got questions. I don't see any hate, so...
Well, you did put Ultramel. Is Ultramel the best Morph? So maybe the Monarch haters are staying away. They're a little jelly tonight. I mean, the Monarch lovers, excuse me.
I do get tired of people being like this or the other. I mean, yeah, sure, you can do both. I do get tired of that constant rhetoric. And sometimes I do get a little bit, I say frustrated, but some of like your bigger breeders sometimes that maybe push one project over the other.
Yeah.
You can't fault them for that. It's not their fault, right? But then you have a lot of people are just sheep, right? And they just kind of think for themselves and they just go for whoever is pushing what and don't think. So there's like that part of it too that you can't control.
Totally agree.
88 Morphs. I think you have to work them. Yeah. I would agree with that. I think the Monarch you'd have to work more dark, maybe codoms with, because I feel like the lighter stuff is not going to look good at all
Yeah.
as it ages. So,
Yeah. But there will not be Monarch in this house. Not allowed.
that's funny. You're like, absolutely not.
Nope. Even if you want to give it to me for free. Nope.
Oh, shoot. So you are on that. You are on that hard
Nah, just kidding.
Monarch line. I mean, you can only do so much. So,
Yes.
yeah, you can't. I was like, you can work both, but
Yeah.
for me, it would just going to be one or the other. And the
Absolutely.
price makes it hard to get into, and I just don't like how it ages. So people can bring up their comments in there. I think most people are Ultramel here. Yeah, 88 Morphs. Oh, Lisa brings up a comment here too. Oh, good question.
Okay, so Danny, I film them obviously, or unless I'm the one talking. So I'll film them, and he's like really been good at editing them. It actually is me on social media responding to you guys, so I don't know if people know that. And I do agree that social media takes a huge part of the business. I think in the Bob's Discord, right? Bob's Balls. They were talking about how do you feel like you can get like more traction to your Morph Market store? And someone brought up the comment where like, well, if I go and I like your animal, but I don't see anything on your social media to like make me have like trust in your projects, then like why am I going to buy from you type of deal? So this past year, we've really, I guess maybe like this last 6 months, we made it a point to like put our face out there. I think most of last season. And then we explained like the pairings and, you know, let people know that we are real and not just like a robot behind a screen, and try to educate people. I mean, we might not be right 100% of the time with our IDs, and we appreciate the feedback if you guys see that. But I do think social media is taking over for lots of businesses, not just in the snake industry, but, you know, anything. And if that is one thing that I can tell somebody new starting out, is to like focus on that, like build your brand, build your face. Like, even if, you know, you don't have 100 different breeder females, like go to a show, or you're not going to vend a show, go to a show and introduce yourself to people. Then once people like associate your name and your face with your business name, they're like, oh, like I can buy from them. Like they seem like trustworthy people, or like human, or they know what they're doing, all that kind of thing. But yes, social media is very important. I think.
Oh yeah, that's a good question, Lisa. I think it's important too. It's hard to do sometimes. Like I'm like, oh, I need to post. I've been trying to post more, and there was a little bit of time where I was looking at my IG pages, mostly the podcast, just like kind of the guests, and that's fine to do. But I was like, I need to post the animals too. Like I just don't want to be known just for
just podcast.
the podcast. Like I'm a breeder as well. I want to be known for that part of it. So I've been trying to post a little bit more of that. It's hard when you're starting out too, you know,
Absolutely.
you don't have a lot of clutches, but I have animals I can post and everything like that. You can post the same animal, just in different lights and stuff.
I think that's what we did in the beginning, was like animals on repeat. Like, oh, well, we did this one last week, we'll do this one, or, you know, we did this one a week ago, we'll wait another week and do it again type thing. And it's okay to repeat your stuff and just show it how it like grows up, it ages, and, you know, that type of thing.
Yep. And I think putting yourself out there is what the podcast has helped me do, but also going to shows and meeting people, but also posting the animals, because I think that's so important. Nothing wrong with just doing podcasting, but you know, I want to, if I'm going to give advice or something like that at any time in the future, I want to actually be experienced and be producing stuff and not just coming off as if I'm experienced and not. So
absolutely.
That's just how I think about it. So, but yeah, I've been trying to post more. It's difficult though. It's
hard too. And I'm sure you get in the funk. Like you have this every Sunday, you have your other job and your job and school, and, you know, your own like home life. Even for us, he's like, oh, we haven't posted, but I don't feel like doing anything. And we're like, okay, but, you know, staying consistent, even if it's just once a week or once every 2 weeks, but like not disappearing for months at a time, that type of thing.
Yeah. Or just posting, you know, not animals and just posting something else. Then it kind of gives it kind of gets confusing on like, you know, what you're doing and everything. So
Yes.
we'll say hello to people. Oh yeah, Dan, he's on tomorrow on the New Breeder on the Block, so tap in for him.
Nice.
Nikki's tapping in.
Hello.
And oh yeah, Marshall. Yes.
Hey, Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall's one of those really nice animals. MJ went over there and shots. I was like, I really want to. I forget what all they were, but it was like a
confusion.
Yeah, I had girl growing up that hopefully I can add some of those. But yeah, seeing that, I was like, how can you not like that?
I know.
It's really I mean, it just shows that we all have different likes and dislikes. But some things that pop up, I'm like, how can you not like the Sunset Ultramel? There's still some people that are like, I don't know. I'm like, how? The thing's like literally gold. How can you not like that?
I know.
It's crazy, but
like people can't see a good thing if it hit them in the face.
I know. Or if it has sunset in it, they're just like die hard. No sunset.
Hey, but you know what? That's how I was in the beginning. I'm like, ew, sunset. Like, meh. And then like, it was a while ago because I can't even remember when we got our sunset male. But then I started seeing like some of these combinations, and then we picked up like a cinnamon sunset. Even now I look at her and I'm like, she's kind of like meh. But I really think that Ultramel is going to make it pop. And then we did produce our Hypo Sunset girl this year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think Hypo is going to take Sunset to another level.
Yes, I saw Pastel Sunset Hypo, gorgeous, absolutely. You can see the pattern. It was like, if you got one right here, pull out yours. Yeah, the Hypo Sunset is very nice too.
It's okay, relax. Yeah. So
wow, is that a pastel Hypo Sunset? Look
pastel
at that
Hypo Sunset.
And you guys produced that?
Yeah, we got lucky to a triple het pairing, but she is just...
triple het to triple het.
Yeah,
that's crazy. See, I see that and it makes it tempting, but I'm like, I won't get that lucky. But
I think we wore out all our luck this year. No, hopefully, I need wood. I don't have any wood to knock on.
Yeah, the animal's stunning, but then it has pastel. People are like, oh, that animal is pretty. I love the highlights that it gets like on the back and stuff.
Yeah, she came out nice. So I definitely think Hypo and Sunset are going to be amazing together. I can't wait to make my own Ultramel Sunset. I know I've seen pictures of them and they're just gorgeous.
Yep. I got one. She's a lesser double het girl growing up now. And then hopefully I can make my own like Ultramel hets or Sunset hets to grow up. It's going to take some time. I'll be there in a few years, but
it'll be worth it though.
But when you open the egg, you see pure gold. I mean,
right?
I'm going to lose it.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a little challenging though, because Sunset to me looks better with the bright morphs, but Ultramel looks really good with dark. So what's going to happen with the Ultramel Sunset as far as that's where I'm kind of struggling a little bit.
Right. So we added, or we have growing up like a blackhead and leopard double heads. So I think the blackhead's going to help it, hopefully. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what other codoms will look good with Ultramel and Sunset.
I think the only one I've seen is GHI, and I didn't care for that one so much.
Yeah, I don't really like how GHI messes with the Sunset too much either.
Yeah, I've kind of been thinking that too. I liked it as a baby, and then I saw it as an adult, and I was like, I just
doesn't do it for you.
I just don't like it. I'll be honest. I just don't like it that much. So yeah, I think GHI is a little bit too mutes the pattern too much. I think it's too overbearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one, that's where it's kind of like a little bit challenging in that aspect, which direction, but hopefully with the dark will help keep the pattern. I just want to see the pattern a little bit more.
Yes.
Lucid to Super Asphalt Sunset. Yeah, I saw that one in person at SCRE, and then I saw another picture of it, and it looked a lot better in the picture, a little older. So Lisa has another good question.
Do we ever disagree? We disagree all the time. Yes and no. We talk about it. So, like, what's something? So for example, yesterday we were talking about we have a mahogany clown, and we're like, should we take our hypo clown to it, or should we take like our acid clown to it? Because first of all, we don't want to wear our hypo clown male out too much because he's still kind of young. And the acid clown, black pastel leopard acid clown, he's got some years on him and some age. So I want to go the dark route with it, but he wants to take it to make some hypos. So I don't know if we disagree, but we don't solidify our plan until we both are like, okay, yeah, I see your point or I see your point. So I think I answered that.
Yeah, sounds like you kind of
Similar. Yeah.
Similar
so we have a similar vision. We disagree in the beginning and then we like pull it together and like, come on, let's go.
Okay, so you come together at the, I feel like, because I don't see many couples, I would say, in the game so much, or it's usually like one, and then it seems like you guys are both
I think
pretty dominant in the business.
Yeah, typically what I've noticed is, you'll have like the main person and then like the support come in and help with shows or, do something. But I feel like since we did take it to like the business level, I had to really crack down and learn my genetics and like actually what I like talking about. And now I'm like, well, I want to stay in this. And we both, it's like equal partnership, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So it's nice because we don't really have similar hobbies. And I would say this is our similar hobby / business.
What do you guys like doing outside the snakes that's different?
He likes to be outside and like work with his hands and do woodworking. And hate being outside. I'd probably like a vampire. But when I get outside, I enjoy it. But I like to be inside. I'm a homebody. I like to eat. I like to cook and bake. And he eats to live, doesn't live to eat.
That's funny.
So
he just eats whatever you're making in the kitchen?
Usually, sometimes.
I like being outside, but I burn. So we'll see how this move to Florida is going to be. But I'm going to have to put a lot of sunscreen, but I burn very, very easily. So I'm like, I looked in the mirror before the show and I was like, girl, you're pale. I was like, bring out the winter, we haven't had a lot of sun here, but I was like, man, I look freaking pale. So hopefully
you look great.
Thank you. Pasty and so light. It's weird.
Pasty's in.
What was that?
I said pasty's in. Protect your skin.
Yeah. So I have family members and we're all kind of like, some of them have a little more olive tone skin, so they just tan so much better. I've always been jealous of that. I just burn and then tan later, but yeah, it is what it is. So what about I'll do these commercials and we'll come right back. So
perfect.
Yep, let me play them. Otherwise, MJ will be on my bumper. See where they're at. I lost. Okay, there we go.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Diversity when it comes to a reptile diet, I feel like is so important. So this is why I'm proud to announce today's sponsor, Blake Exotic Feeders over in Florida. If you want the #1 quail sent to your doorstep and more importantly fed to your reptile, no better company than to go to than Blake Exotic Feeders. Blake can get anywhere from day 1 quail all the way up to extra large quail sent to your doorstep. #1 quality in quail, hands down. And I gotta tell you, my reptiles love it just as much. Give me a peace of mind to know that these quail are grown on his property and it's not bought third party. Head over to his website, Blake Exotic Animal Ranch, to place your order, or you could just hit him up directly on Instagram. His name's Blake, real nice guy. Follow his Instagram, Blake Exotic Feeders. Let him know that the Trap sent you and he'll take extra good care of you. Thank you so much, Blake, for supporting the Trap, and also thank you so much for sending me top quality homegrown quail for my animals. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. Shout out to today's sponsor, and that is the COCO Dude. #1 chipper substrate in the game. Everything you see behind me, all my emerald tree boas, my green tree pythons are all over that beautiful COCO chip over at COCODO.com. Go to COCODO.com, place your order. I prefer the COCO to go. It's already broken down, less dust, the chunks are perfect. But yes, I like the COCO to go. No matter what your total is in your cart, if you put in TRAPFAM25 in the promo code, you are now going to get 25% off your entire order. Thank you so much, the COCO Dude, for doing that for all my trappers. Again, #1 substrate in the game. Less duck sheds, less dust. It's the best place to be, and that's the COCO Dude. Again, COCODO.com. Put in promo code TRAPFAM25 and get yourself 25% off the entire order. Thank you so much, COCO Dude. Cheers.
All right, we're back. Does a really good job with those commercials. Oh, we got Jeff popping in. Yep. New guy here. Cool. Nice to see you. Awesome. Okay. Kind of finish this thing off. The other question I had is, what's your knowledge about Ultramel A versus B?
I have zero knowledge in that.
Yeah, shoot, okay. I was hoping you'd have something.
It's a question for Danny. He's like, I don't know. Just say I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I don't know this one. No, I know that all I do know is that they do test their sheds, the spots on them test different. There's like a marker. Yeah. So A or B. But yeah, I have zero knowledge after that.
Yeah, there's a good RGI video. I think I haven't got. I should watch. I don't know why I haven't watched it to this point.
I should too.
But I've heard it's like a good one that explains it really well. So oh, my cat just jumped in. But I heard that's a pretty good one to watch.
Yeah, check that one out.
Yeah, because I think I've heard that there is like a visual difference between the two. Like there is I don't want to say better quality, but a darker, more contrasted line.
You know what we've had? I don't know which line is which, but we've had a lot of people say that our Ultramel is a lot darker than others that they've seen, around.
Yeah.
And I kind of can attest to that. We went to like the NARBC back in Arlington and saw, some Ultramels on table. Like, wow, like that's a very similar combination to what we made. But like, why is it so much lighter? So I don't know. I mean, we do have, even here, we have some of our big Ultramel girls that are darker than others.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. So I need to watch that video too. So thank you for keeping me in check on that.
It's okay. I'm like, I should have watched it too by now. I just haven't. But I noticed on some mine too, they're just Ultramels. Some of them are het for this or het for that, but there is a little bit of a difference. I could be. I think it's the B that's darker. I mean, I could be totally wrong because I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard from others, I want to say it's B that's a little. So I think that's why. Because yeah, I've seen some combos where it's still Ultramel, but it looks different than say another combo with the same genes in it. So it's very interesting how there's two different.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. I am not the YouTube connoisseur. That would be Danny. Like I'll watch. He's like, oh, you need to watch this one. Okay, I'll watch it. And then I get so like unfocused and like I'll go do something else. Like, oh, I was supposed to watch that.
Yeah, I have like a list of stuff I plan on watching, but between doing this and I have been listening to more financial podcasts lately, so then I get stuck on that. So there's just not enough time in a day to listen to everything. So I just pick and choose.
Yeah, he'll like we clean the adults together on Saturdays, and he'll be in here like with his, we don't talk to each other. We're on separate sides of the room and we clean the adults. He'll be listening to a podcast. I can't. I have to listen to music because I need to like jam and get moving. So we're very different in that aspect. I can't just listen to people talking. So but if I'm gonna watch something, I have to sit there and like watch it. But then like one of the kids will be like, "Hey, can you get me this? Like, don't you see there's another parent here?" And
Yeah.
So when it comes to YouTube, I'm like so like ADD, I guess.
That makes sense. So you can only listen to stuff if it's music, but with YouTube, you have to visually watch it. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why, what it is, but I gotta watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's something I've kind of gotten used to as well as just popping in stuff and listening to it as I work. And now I'll even do like Netflix shows and stuff like that. Like I could only be able to watch that, but since I've listened to so much podcast, now I can just listen to a TV show or something and still, if I know it, know the people and the basics of it, I can follow it. So yeah, I wasn't a huge podcast person until I started listening to this, and now it's just like listen to
everything
and everything, yeah. Or talk to people on the phone when I'm working or cleaning. It makes it go by so much faster.
Oh, for sure.
It's so slow if you're not listening to anything. So
you start talking to yourself like, you can't respond. So
or the snakes.
Yeah. Who are you talking to? Oh, my friend.
Yeah. My friend. No, I love talking to people on the phone. I usually do talk to Brandon Nixon quite a bit, is who I usually do late at night. Yeah. Talk about snakes or anything. Helps the time go by fast. Or he'll be like, I'm going out in the rat room if you want to talk. I'll be like, I should probably do rats too. So then we do them at the same time. So I'm like, it helps me like stay on top of it. So
yeah, that's good.
So yeah, super fun. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. No, okay. So where do you guys see the future of Portuguese pythons kind of going? I mean, this sounds like this year's a lot. And the clutch wise, do you want to keep what's your vision in the next 5 years or so?
I mean, if we do hit 60 clutches, that's going to be a lot of work. I don't want to do 100 clutches. But I mean, if it gets to that point and that's where we're happy, then that's fine. I think we just kind of go season by season and see what's to come and how we manage that. Like I said, we moved our corn snakes out, so that was kind of a help there to just focus on this. Kind of just roll with the punches, see how it goes. I know he works still full time, and it helps with the benefits, because I mean you don't want to have to pay for your own benefit, that type thing, and with the 3 kids you have to have the benefits. But as far as the business, just keep pushing along, keep doing the shows, keep posting the animals on Morph Market, Instagram, and he talked about wanting to do YouTube, and then I had to learn how to edit videos, and I told him class. I said another thing to put on my plate, but we'll see. So
that's a different animal. I'm not quite there yet, and Brandon keeps telling me I need to do it, I should do it. It's just another thing I gotta do. It's helpful. I think it's, especially if you're new, I think it's really important to do. I just get worried about the editing part of it, but you see some people that don't edit. I think it's all down to the content, honestly. The animals that you're showing, how personable you are on camera. So I don't think people should be super worried if they don't have the best equipment out there or editing skills.
Yeah.
So people will gravitate towards who they like. Then you can tell that on camera. So
definitely. And I think like what we have been doing this year with the reels and kind of doing those little clutch videos, like just keep going off that and moving it to YouTube. I'm like, well, why can't we just stay on Instagram? Like, I've already learned Instagram. Like, let's just stick there. But we'll see where it takes us.
It's like, no, you gotta challenge yourself, gotta do something.
I know.
Well, I've seen the Rice, shout out to the Rice family for being a sponsor too, but they have been doing more YouTube videos, I've noticed as well. So shout out to them for being super consistent with that, because I'm like, man, it's so hard to do that.
Yeah, it is hard. even like for us just getting on these like podcasts, I know we've had a few people like reach out and ask us. It's hard with the 3 kids, like fortunately he's off tonight. You asked me to be on it and like, okay, I get it like an hour for myself. Like nobody's gonna bother me. It's so nice. But in order to do these podcasts, we have to arrange like either the kids have to be at school or like my grandma has to come over and watch them or they have to be over there because if not, they'll be in and out of this room. Like I already heard them come through the front door and there's I'm like, shh, be quiet. So it's a lot of work. And to think to have to do like YouTube video, like some film content, like, I don't know if you saw our Morph Market video that MJ did.
Yeah.
It's a 12-minute video. That took us like 2 days to film that because they were like, I want to be in it. I want to do this. I need something to eat. So it's just like the quick little 1.5, 2-minute videos that we're putting on Instagram, like that's good for me because it's like, okay, we just need 2 minutes. And they're like, okay. So yeah, I want to push myself forward and push us forward, but it's a lot.
It's especially with how many, you said 3 kids. What ages are they?
Dylan will be 8 in May. Delilah will be 6 in April. And the baby, Danny Joe just turned 3. So
okay. So they're at that age where they're just like,
yeah,
just everywhere. Amanda and Eric, they came over the weekend. They have, I'm gonna lose track. I think 4 kids. I think the oldest one was 6, and they were a lot of fun. But I was like, man, I have so much energy. So I know what you're. I mean, I was the oldest of 5 kids, so I grew up in a big family. But I've kind of not been around them so much with school. So being around 8, okay, I lost track. So 4 were there yesterday, but I guess 8 total. Wow. I only brought 4. Oh, yeah. I was thinking that's
8 kids. Oh my gosh.
Gosh, that's crazy. No, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. It definitely made me want to have my own family maybe someday, but it was it was a little refreshing.
Yeah.
So, but I could see where having young kids, it makes it really difficult because they're just so high energy and everywhere.
The older 2 are pretty good. Like they'll stay out, but it's I created a little monster out of the littlest one, and she wants to be with mom all the time, and so yeah, she's my little hellion.
Are they into the snakes at all?
Yes. So Dylan has been doing the shows with us, the last few shows with us. They like to come in. They think they're going to help clean. They're like, can we help? And they'll put like a glove on and they'll help. Like, it's more work for them to help us than it is. Yeah. But, if we say, okay, yeah, come help. And they're like, okay, I'm done. And then they'll leave us alone for like 20 minutes. So, but yeah, they like the snakes. So
that's awesome. I bet that makes you guys feel good. I don't know, as a parent, I feel like I'd want them to be interested in what I'm doing, but I don't want to force it.
Yes.
Force it on them.
Yes.
My family was kind of like that with sports in a way, a little bit. My brothers were talented and were good at it, but there was still a lot of pressure on them to do well consistently, and sometimes it was stressful on them, I think. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we never wanted to if they want to come in and do it with us, it's cool. But we never oh, you have to go to the shows with us. You have to do this. And now even Delilah, the middle one, she's like, I want to go to the shows. And we're like, well, you're a little scatterbrained. So you might be good for a couple hours. I don't think the full blown 12-hour day. So we took her to go. We went to the local Repticon, I think 2 weekends ago, just to go visit our friends, Edwin and Judy, Ballsy Pythons.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. I saw them in chat. Yeah.
She enjoyed just going and hanging out for a little bit. She's like, can we go home now? And so, yeah, you can't do a show yet, but
it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I'm vending and I see the kids come by and they're just like, can I hold something? Can I hold something? I'm like, how many have you held today? Oh, that table, that. I'm like, okay, no. I was like, sorry. I was like, it's hard because I try to have a dedicated animal.
Oh, for sure.
Most of them can hold and then just quarantine that one or whatever. But it's if you've been handling all of them, I'm a little more cautious.
Exactly.
So yeah. Oh, Eric put all of the kids ages.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah, I think it was 3 months. The 1.5, 4, and 6 were there yesterday. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. But I appreciate you coming on tonight, and we'll go. We're a little over an hour. We won't go too much longer. That way, we can get them ready for bed and
I know
school.
Danny can do it tonight.
Oh, he can do it. I know. I felt interesting when I read. She was like, I was like, well, because when I first reached out, I didn't know who I was talking to initially, but I was like, can I just have Renae? Because I mainly focus on the females, but
Yes.
but I know MJ wants the both of you on it at some point. I don't know if he's reached out yet or not, but I know he'll want
Be more than happy to.
both of you on it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoke really highly of you at the show with KG show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love MJ.
Yeah, yes, I won't give him too many flowers, but yes, he's have his wife on next week, so that would be
nice.
That would be fun.
We will definitely watch that one. Not listen, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you will see how it goes. No, I'm excited, but he kind of worried me about a little bit.
Why?
I don't know. He was like, how do I put he was like, oh, she's kind of intimidating or something like that. I'm like, she's probably just trying to keip you in line because he recommended that I have her on. So then I asked, he's like, wait, you asked her? I was like, you told me, you suggested it.
That's funny.
So I was like, this is your own doing. He's gonna text me or call me after this. What the heck? No, I don't know. I don't even know if he's listening. He'll listen eventually. But no, he's great. So
yeah.
Do you guys plan on going outside California for any shows or not? Or are you more, would you say you're more focused on online versus shows? Or is it kind of even mix?
Well, with the smaller shows out here, it's hard because, like I said, with the schedule, it's hard to do them. So we're focused on, I guess, the super shows out here. Mm-hmm. I would love to go out of state. I know Troy's putting one. Oh, he's been doing the one in Colorado, which I think that's like 10 or 11 hours from us or something like that. And I know he's putting on the Phoenix one, which is, I think, 6 or 7 hours. Mm-hmm. So everything's still out of state as a drive. We did drive to Dallas last April to do that show. Jason Kittinger had a couple extra tables, and that was like a 19-hour drive.
Shoot. That's crazy for a show.
It was fun. We'll just put it that way. We didn't sell too many snakes, but it was fun. So, and like I said, with the kids, it's just hard because you have to have sitters. And I'd love to go out of state. I'd love to just be like, bye, see you guys in like 4 days. So we'll see. So right now, I guess mostly online sales, and then the 2-3 super shows a year that we do. Mm-hmm. Maybe pick up some smaller shows this year. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of where my mind's at too. After I move and try and decide what direction to take it, like I want to do some bigger shows, and then Florida has a lot, so maybe do some. But if I'm gonna stay small, I'm not gonna have enough animals to be doing them every single weekend. So I'll have to, which is fine. I don't. It's not like I hate the show scene, but I don't want to be doing it every.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of like prep goes into it, and then doing the whole show the whole weekend. Like come Sunday night, I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this next week. It was just a 1-day show last weekend, DNKG show. I had, to prep all my lists and my tags and all that. And then do the show. It was just 1 day. But that Saturday night, I'm like, I'm exhausted. And we still have to put the animals away. And I don't know how these people do back-to-back weekends or every other weekend. It's just like, I'm tired.
I don't know how they do it either. It's also like not guaranteed success kind of in a way that I've learned. Like I can't really put too much pressure on myself for how I do at shows because you honestly like there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I struggle with that because I'm a very like calculated, like, okay, if I do this, I should get this result. And when it doesn't happen, I have a hard time being okay with that sometimes.
And I think like to bounce off of that, with not doing the shows and like the new tool of the auctions, right? I mean, I know it's not so new. It's like a year old now. Like being able to like, I can pay, $200 for a table at a show here, right? And not sell anything. Or I can list an animal for 3 days, like, a sought after animal, maybe not so sought after, and, make up for that. Like, so why am I going to go spend 2 days at a show, take all my animals, or just list something, on an auction. I know it's not a tool, but it is kind of like a tool to use.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, target the online sales maybe is where we're headed, or where we've been kind of lingering at the moment.
I think it's an interesting discussion. I think it's helpful to get your name out there and move some animals. I think it just depends on your individual collection. So it kind of goes back to why I buy products visual, like hypo stuff or Ultramel stuff that's still in that pet level range that could work, but I'm not producing stuff to sell at shows specifically, like it's stuff for directly me.
For you, yeah. You're your best customer.
Yeah, I think it's very just individual collection. And there's nothing wrong, but just individual collection. But I think if you're doing this full time, you have to kind of do it like that. Mostly. I mean, I say that, but there's, difference in every range, I guess. But that's where I've been kind of seeing is people who do it full time kind of have to produce a lot for the public too.
Yes.
So, yeah. Interesting discussion with that. Is there anything that you've learned over since you've started that you could go back and change if you could?
Well, if I could change, probably our first initial, I don't even want to say investments, but purchases, be more strategic with it. But I think that's probably everybody. Yeah. What could I change?
Or something you've learned looking back too. Maybe not change so much, but
something I've learned that it's a lot of work and the money's not just going to fall on your lap. And you have to work it. I don't want to say we came in the time with the COVID breeders, because we started breeding before, but we didn't start selling until like online until COVID. And you would just list stuff and things would just sell.
It's wild.
But it's not like that now.
Yeah.
Now your listing can be there for 2, 3, 4 months. And if you're not adjusting prices to the market, or, willing to let it go for dirt cheap, if you can hold off letting it go for something, then do it, right? To maximize your money. I don't even know where I'm going on this tangent, but basically it's not just going to fall on your lap. You have to work hard. You have to put your time into the animals, the care, the feeding, the water changes, take care of your animals, quality in, and, it's not just, you're not just going to make your money back right away.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of went on a whole different little tangents there.
No, that's I think the market's a very interesting thing too, because sometimes when I post an animal, I look at some of the comps and I'm like, that's crazy expensive. But then if you price it super low, then people attack you and being oh, you're under kind of the market, which I see sort of that part of it, but also it's only so much of what somebody's willing to pay, right? So sometimes it's very hard, and you don't want to come off like that person that's low
undercutting.
Yeah, but I'm that was priced way too high. There's no way I'm gonna post it near yours and mine's gonna sit forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a hard skill. I don't even call it skill, but hard right now. I think to do that.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that.
So I watch the auctions kind of I've used them. I find them very helpful, but I kind of watch them as a hawk too to see where stuff is. Granted, that's not set price, but it kind of gives you what people are willing to pay, and you can maybe go a little above that if you're
absolutely.
But if you're listing something that's 4 or 5 times higher than what we've been seeing at auction, it's kind of eh. Oh, Eric has a good question too.
Oh, well,
it's a good one.
The dynamic of a couple partnership. So we're both bad when it comes to that, because, for example, Miguel had posted that Cypress Ultramel clown, and I saw the post a minute after he posted it, and I screenshot it, sent it to him. He's like, "We don't need that. It's gonna be too much money." And I'm like, "But I want it." and then next thing you know, I got it. And then kind of the same thing with him. He'll send me something. I'm like, "We don't need that." And then we talk it over and we're like, "Okay, yeah, it works." So we never had to oh, I will never reach out to somebody about an animal until I've asked my husband, but I don't pull that card. Like, we talk about it. I'm usually always the one that will inquire to the buyer or the seller. And yeah, so I guess it's like an equal partnership, like, or like we both agree on it. Like, it's never like, oh, I bought this. Like, we talk about it. Is it going to work for our projects? And if so, then yeah, we'll buy it. If not, we'll sit on it and think about it. If it's still there, then it's meant to be. If it's not, then oh well.
That's. I don't know if it's it's a good dynamic. I will say. I don't know how it is with other couples. I feel like it could get a little difficult. I feel. Well, in my position, sometimes I feel like I wish I had that. Otherwise, I'm just, and I've kind of will have learned to talk to somebody before I just start buying something.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wish I had that person telling me no sometimes, that, and just think about it for a day. And then, I get too rushed and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, was that a smart decision? Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, we've probably made some purchases that we both agreed on that we're like, why did we do this? But in the end, we're like, okay, it'll work. We'll go this route with it or whatever. But I think any purchase, we always like have like the same thing we talked about with pairings or whatever. Like, we always come to like, we might have different opinions in the beginning, but then we like form a solution that we both are happy with.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'd be curious to hear other couples and see how they if it's similar to your guys's or if it's totally different. I feel like that'd be interesting to hear about that. It could be challenging too, especially if they're both kind of bullheaded or strong-willed. It could get, people are passionate about these things, so I feel like it could get a little dicey. But good question, guys. We'll kind of wrap it up in about 5 minutes or so. So put in any last questions and we'll start kind of wrapping things up. But again, appreciate having you on. I think it's been great. I feel like we've talked about a variety of different things. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you thought would come up or didn't come up?
No, we already covered that Ultramel is superior to Monarch. I just had to put that in there one more time.
Yes, Ultramel's the best.
Yeah.
Best. Nah.
Oh, I do. There was a question. It wasn't a question. We talked about what doesn't look good with Ultramel, and we said bamboo.
Yes.
And so I am not saying it doesn't look good with Ultramel. It's just not a way that we were going to go. We won't put hypo into Ultramel over here. We like hypo and we like Ultramel, but I don't think we both personally think that it doesn't complement it very, like, I feel like Ultramel just needs Ultramel. You don't need to like hypo it up. So I think it looks good in it. It's just not a route that we want to go.
I agree with that. I'm also not taking that route with it either. I have the hypo sunset puzzle and I'm keeping that separate from the sunset Ultramel puzzle.
Yeah.
Like, theoretically it might get mixed in if I'm crossing stuff over, but maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah, because I agree with the hypo in it. Like, sometimes, what was that? I saw a picture of like a hypo, I think it was a hypo Ultramel pied. And I saw another one was just Ultramel pie, and the Ultramel pie looked better than the hypo. So to me, it seems like a lot of extra work for not that much visual difference, or even mutes it a tad bit. Like, you don't get as strong of a contrast. I don't want to feel bad, like hate on anybody. It's just not.
Oh, no. Exactly.
Direction. I'm not saying this is like the end all. It's just my personal preference.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. We're gonna keep our hypo projects and our Ultramel projects separate.
Yep. I think that's a very, very good point. Yeah, because that's not the direction I'm wanting to take it either. So I'm gonna have to keep stuff separate in that understanding. Oh, Eric. Okay, yeah, because we have another couple in the chat, so yeah, they kind of go back and forth on what they're buying.
Yeah, definitely. That's like, I would go on Morph Market and like try to pinpoint like, oh, this is why this is so basic, right? This is why this is spot nose and this isn't, like, and then it just evolved from there. Oh, this is blackhead because it looks like this, and I'm still not perfect. I still don't know all the genes. I can pick them out like from our combinations, but if you pull up a random snake, like from Morph Market, don't show me anything, like, it's gonna take me a minute to figure it out. But Definitely not perfect over here.
No, I'm still learning a lot too. I mean, my first year, I paired a lot of incomplete dominant to incomplete dominant stuff because I thought that what you're supposed to do. And then the babies, I mean, of course, it was like banana stuff, and then I couldn't really tell what they were. I was like, I'm not doing that again. You know, I'll do stuff that I can be able to tell what's what.
Exactly.
Slithers. Probably have to watch the replay because we're finishing up. I'm sorry, but it'll be on YouTube for you to go back and watch. So yeah, I don't see any other questions. We can wrap it up. I'm glad we brought up the hypo because that was something I was meaning to talk about, but forgot to bring it up. So yeah, Taylor.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your next show that you guys are doing?
So we are not scheduled to do anything until the June Super Show, which is also the LA Pet Fair.
Okay.
The June 28th and 29th, the Pomona Fairplex.
Okay.
So unless something pops up sooner, but I don't think so. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we talked backstage. I plan on being at that one, so I'll probably see you guys there. I'll also I'll go to Tinley this coming weekend. I'll just drive up. It's not too far of a drive from where I'm at, so I'm just
That's awesome.
Spend the there.
We still have yet to make it to even just visit a Tinley.
Really? Wow.
I know. We want to. I know. Maybe the fall one. So
I've heard that one's a little bit better. My first one was in October, so I'll go to this one and kind of compare between the two. But when I moved to Florida, I don't really see myself going very much. I think I'll just stick with Daytona and Bob's show.
Yeah.
And those shows, unless I don't know. It just costs a lot, and just visit, and that's too long for me to bend or even if I wanted to. So
definitely.
So yeah, awesome, cool. We'll see you guys in July. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. How can people reach out to you, check out what you're producing and all of that?
Instagram would probably be your fastest, or Morph Market. We have our direct message on there, our storefront. You can always email us at portuguesepythons@gmail.com. But yeah, Instagram is probably the best way to reach us.
Okay, awesome, cool. Well, thank you for your time tonight, and I'll put you backstage. You can put the kids to bed if Danny hasn't already, or maybe just spend a little extra time in the stage.
Hang out with my friends over here.
I kind of pop out like, okay, I don't hear anybody. I'm coming back out. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, cool. I hope we have a great night. Again, thanks for your time. It was a great episode, and I look forward to seeing you guys in person. So
yeah, definitely look forward to it. Thanks again, Krista.
All right, no problem. Bye, Renae.
Bye.
All right, guys, awesome episode. If you're not already following them, please go like their Instagram page. Go and follow them on Morph Market. For nothing but great things about them and their family. So super excited to have her on and see her in person. Really excited for Tinley too this coming weekend. So shout out if you're going there. I'll see you guys, and hope you have a great start to your week. And I'll see you guys next week.